Abortion is not some crazy, weird last resort. For me in particular, because I did have two abortions as a young woman, I feel that my ability to access that kind of medical care made it possible for me to live out my dreams and do what I really wanted to do with my life.
Clinton recently joined forces with the Shout Your Abortion campaign.
All human life is precious.
Where's the money coming from to support people who aren't ready to be mothers or aren't financially stable to take care of a child?
You simply cannot defer protecting lives of unborn children because of cost.
It's a law that's designed to end Roe v.
What if we're being provided with two wrong answers? As Christians, we have to frame this issue for ourselves, and we have to make sure that we're being faithful to God and loving to our communities. There are polarizing voices shouting on both sides of this issue.
On one side, there are progressives who argue for a woman's choice. On the other, conservatives who argue for the life of the unborn child. But both sides are leaving out crucial aspects of the reality of abortion.
One speaks to the heart of women's struggles. Women who often feel oppressed, controlled, and victimized by men desire sexual autonomy in a society that has a history of shaming women. They want the freedom to choose the outcome of their own lives.
The other side speaks on behalf of a child who's voiceless, who's not yet born, yet still very much alive, valuable, and deserves the right to develop and grow in their mother's womb.
Amongst all the shouts, neither side is listening to the other.
And neither side answers with a holistic approach to the problem.
While progressives advocate for the rights and protection of women, they do this at the expense of her child and family. Helping a woman to abort her child does not solve her problems, but it can often cause more. A significant amount of women who undergo abortions report mental distress and anguish after having the procedure.
While some conservative voters and policymakers fight for women to go through with unplanned pregnancies, they often fight against social policies that make it possible for these women to care for their children and themselves.
Neither the progressive nor the conservative answer lives up to the gospel call. The Bible demands a framework that includes both compassion and conviction. The gospel calls us to a sincere compassion for human life and advocates for human flourishing from the womb to the tomb.
The gospel calls us to recognize the vulnerability of unborn babies and their mothers.
Mothers who often find themselves making hard decisions that impact the rest of their lives.
This is what the AND campaign is here to do, to help the church approach and think through this issue with a biblical framework, and to be able to do so confidently by answering questions concerning abortion. We, the AND campaign, we do this by providing a new narrative, a gospel-centered perspective that is both pro-woman and pro-child.
Women, if you have ever considered or had an abortion, God still loves you. The church should be here to support you and not shame you. God will take your hurts, your mistakes, and even something that seems unwanted and make it beautiful. He redeems.
We also refuse to disregard the struggles of women with crisis pregnancies. Without thoughtful social policies, women are often left without resources and opportunities to care for their children and themselves, which causes them to falsely believe that abortion is their best option.
Overlooked by medical professionals, the health disparities amongst Black women leave us 3 to 4 times more likely to die from childbirth-related causes. This is a fact that continues to be ignored by the traditional pro-life community.
When Black women who have chosen to carry their child to full term are still at risk of death, we must lead with a more compassionate posture and provide a community of support to these mothers who are faced with such bleak realities.
Despite some extreme policies of the prominent voices in the pro-life movement, as Christians, we cannot pretend the child doesn't exist. Even before his or her birth, the heartbeat is real, the movements are real, and the baby is a human being made in God's image. The child is alive.
Being pro-life based on the gospel requires us to be more than anti-abortion. It requires us to be true to our convictions of being a voice for the voiceless babies, while also being a community of support for the women, the mothers, engaging with sincere love and understanding and compassion of Christ.
Because at the heart of the matter is life.